The following is a production of Dirty Mo Media. All right, everybody. Excited about this show. We got one show off the ground and had a lot of fun last week with Marty Smith as our guest. Today's Dirty Air, obviously, we're going to talk about my race weekend at Florence, the great run that we had. Jeff Gordon's coming in tomorrow, so a great week. Obviously, Daytona 500's here. Can't even wrap my brain around the fact that the season's just getting ready to start. It is here. In the studio, Andrew, Dalton.
Howdy.
How you guys doing?
What's going on?
I got a little frog in my throat. I feel great. Just in the morning, waking up with something going on up there in my head, but don't mind me. We're feeling good. But let's jump right into it, man. Got some personal stories I wanted to share. I talked last week about Geoff Bodine's book.
Yep.
All right. It's called All of It. That's the name of it. All of it. He's telling all of it, I guess. Jeff's been on the show, and he is a unique person, right? And just like with all our guests, we let them come in here, and they tell their version of events. We may not agree with it. We may not check them on the BS that we think we're hearing. But it's not our story. It's their story, right? And that's the same way I kind of viewed this book. So let's go through it, okay? Some things that I thought are probably truthful. Some things that I think maybe there's a different side to the story. One in particular, Rick Hendrick is not at the race when they win their first race at Martinsville. HMS wins its first race at Martinsville with Jeff behind the wheel. Rick's not there. Rick's first reaction as a new winning car owner in the Cup Series is to go to Jeff's house and toilet paper his house. That happened. I don't know why I thought that was funny. Rick is a grown man, a owner of a dealership.
Yeah, not the guy I would picture TP in a house.
No, right?
Does he say where he was? I feel like that.
He was at a church retreat with his wife. There's a chapter on my dad called The Intimidator where he speaks really well of Dad. He shares his version of events, but he doesn't take it too far in his criticism of Dad. And he ends the chapter with comments about how Dad impacted the sport in an incredible way. But the very last sentence of that chapter is, quote, "And I found out after Dale's death that he actually hated me." That's the last sentence of the chapter. I'm like, where's the context? Who told you that? Maybe I could, argue that point.
Do you believe that to be true?
No, I don't believe that to be true. Did Dad have an opinion of Jeff? Yes.
Yeah.
Did he like everything he did on the racetrack? No. But I mean, after 20 years of not racing each other, I'm sure that he didn't hate him. And Jeff shares some stories early in this chapter about how they would come over to the lake house. Me and Kelly and Jeff's kids would play together and swim in the lake and all that. And Dad and Jeff would hang out, have dinners. So, I mean, they started off friendly, as most driver relationships do.
Yeah.
But anyhow, after a winless season with Harry Hyde in 1985, Gary Nelson becomes the crew chief on his car in 1986, and they win Daytona. And then they kind of have some engine issues throughout the rest of the year, don't have a lot of speed. Jeff says that Harry, now crew chief for Tim Richmond, was stealing their motors and taking the good motor every week. And he says that it happened a lot in 86. Jeff goes to Rick, and Rick's like, I don't believe you. That can't be happening. But then Jeff says that Rick finally believed Geoff Bodine that, Harry was doing this with the engines well after Harry's death. Jeff says, I went to Rick, told him this was happening in the moment. He didn't believe me. But years later, he came up to me and said, I believe you now. Another thing that I thought was interesting, he says of Levi Garrett, right? He had this tobacco sponsorship. Levi Garrett blamed their slip in product sales partly because of the number 5's team performance in 1989. Not the government new restrictions on tobacco advertisement.
Nah, it's Geoff Bodine behind the wheel doing that.
They didn't run good enough. While discussing his time with another car owner that he drove for, Junior Johnson, without naming names, he says that a driver for Junior intentionally blew their engine at Charlotte during the Winston as they crossed the finish line because the motor was illegal.
Without naming names?
Yes. 1985, Darrell Waltrip.
Yeah.
He says also, so Alan Kulwicki passes away on the week of Bristol. Felix Sabates is named executor of Alan's estate. And he says that Sunday at Bristol, race day, Felix approached him about buying Alan's team, which he would eventually do, right?
Right.
I find it so insane that happened days after Alan had passed away.
Yeah.
He also mentions that Payne Stewart had offered more money to purchase the team, but Geoff got the offer at $2.5 million because he was in the industry and he was already a racer, and they felt like that was the best fit. Geoff drove for Bud Moore. I think this is the one thing that sums Geoff up the best. Okay, this is page 160 in the book. So let me jump there real quick. Geoff wins a race, okay? And Bud has missed a few weeks, and they've had some good runs. So he says during his post-race interview, Bud, you need to stay home more. We do better when you're not here. And he said, after I said that, I knew I was going to have to apologize to Bud. And I didn't mean to offend him, but that statement really did. And I made sure to apologize. That's Geoff Bodine in a nutshell. He says something that sounds like so ridiculous, like he doesn't really intentionally mean to be a jack to Bud, right? But he's just saying something that he thinks funny in the moment in front of with a microphone in his face. He says, which I believe this, he helped bring Hoosier into NASCAR. This is where it gets pretty profound. He helped bring Hoosier into NASCAR in 1994. Darrell Waltrip was the tester originally for Hoosier, but wasn't getting good results, so Geoff took over and turned things around. And he used to be called the Chuck Yeager test pilot because his ability to catch failing tires before they blew, avoiding crashing into the wall. Geoff, he gets, right around this time, he gets really, really honest about his divorce. He gets very honest about his where he was mentally and emotionally. It's really, really dark stuff. He says that year he tested 34 times in 1994 for Hoosier, trying to get that tire off the ground. Hoosier's coming into the sport, right? Goodyear and Hoosier are now battling again. Those couple of chapters are pretty impactful, but one of the things that where the Hoosier deal ends, Hoosier runs in 1994. They have great success with Geoff, and then they're out in the off season, right? And they don't come back in 1995. Goodyear is now the sole tire provider again. Geoff claims that Goodyear gave them bad tires on purpose and torpedoed his 1995 season and beyond. And he took that theory all the way to Bill France. He said, Bill, I'm getting bad tires from Goodyear intentionally because I was the Hoosier guy last year. And he says that because he took that issue to Bill France then retaliated and intentionally gave him a small restrictor plate in July for Daytona so that he would fail to make the field.
Do you believe that?
No. I will stop right there. I don't want to tell you all of the things. There are a couple more bombshells, I would say. Bombshell might be a strong term. Geoff Bodine's book, all of it.
Check it out.
You need to read it. Listen, I know you could think that I'm clowning him just a little bit here, but it's a great book. It's a great read, and I don't know that I believe everything in there, but it's Geoff's story, right? It's how he, and I'm gonna tell you, man, where he got honest about his divorce and how that affected him is really, really heavy, and it makes me kind of question maybe some of these other wild stories. There may be some truth to some of these accusations or whatever you want to call them. He's so damn honest about his own personal thing, right? He details the bobsleds and all the other things that he got himself into. But anyhow, I hope that he appreciates us sharing his book. Ray Evernham also has a book coming out. Ray's going to be on the show here soon. We're going to talk about that.
We should, now that the book is out, I'd be curious to hear what fans have to say. This could almost be like the first DJD book club book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not sure I love reading that much. But anyhow, if you was watching social media, following Amy or maybe me a little bit. Had a daddy-daughter dance. Isla in kindergarten. We, being a dad's amazing. These are the moments that make it amazing. It was a 50s themed, so we had to, I wore my Chucks and my leather jacket. Most of the dads all played along, and it was really funny. There's a picture right there. So we go into the school. I'm like, I just want to be there for Isla. I don't know what Isla wants me to do, what she thinks is going to happen. She probably doesn't care. She's going to see her friends, boom, go play with her pals. That's what happened. We ate a ton of junk, candy and marshmallows and candy and ice cream and just junk, right? And so we end up going into the dance room, and all the kids are on the dance floor, and they're just dancing like crazy, and they're doing the train, the Congo line, and the dads are all standing around in a big circle, semicircle thing. And eventually, the kids, Isla, I thought, okay, I'm just going to stand here on the sidelines all night long and watch her, which is fine. I was entertained. But there's no real dance part, right? We're not going to have a dance. And all of a sudden, man, she comes looking around. She's like, oh, the teacher said, teacher's on the microphone. She's like, Isla's dad, she is looking for you. I'm like standing 10 feet away. I was like, hey, right here. Isla's like, I didn't see you. I was like, well, I'm right here. I told you I wasn't going to move from this spot. I'm never going to move from this spot right here. If you need me, I will be right here. And she said, come on to the dance floor and dance. So I went out there and danced, and we're dancing mid-song, sees a friend. So I'm back off the dance floor. And that was like how the night happened repeatedly, like over
Just
and over.
in increments.
Yes.
Were you the only dad that was paged?
Yes. I was. But I'll be honest, I wasn't even the slightest bit embarrassed, because when I was in the first 10 minutes I was there, I was thinking, I'm absolutely useless. She doesn't even need me here. I don't need, I'm serving no purpose. And then immediately it was like, wrong. She does need you. You do, sir. She does want you to be here. She does want you to be a part of what's happening. And so it was like, she would go play with her friends and run around, and then she'd come back to me and grab my hands and want to dance and do the twist and all that fun stuff, and then she'd be bouncing off with her friends again. So that was great. It went really good. We got out of there a few minutes early so we could get back to the house. So daddy-daughter dance, big success. Last week I want to talk about the app limits.
Okay.
All right.
You got an update.
I put the challenge out there. So Sunday, app limits. All right, I put a 30-minute limit on 2 apps that I use all the time, Twitter and Instagram. It's been going good. 30 minutes is very short.
It's not a lot of time.
I'm out of time. Apps are locked down after, before lunch, right? We're locked down. I'm really shocked if I get on there in the afternoon, I still got a little time left. And another thing, too, sometimes I accidentally lay my phone down and leave it open on the app, and it locks it out.
Rookie move, man.
I know. But on Sunday, we forego the app limits.
Mm-hmm.
Just every Sunday that's going to be your rule, or you just failed?
I'm just taking this one day at a time.
Okay.
So it was Super Bowl Sunday, and I was like, nah, we're going to stay we're gonna forget about it.
You got to be careful with that mindset.
I know. We're learning. So Sunday went all to hell. But we had some fun. We had some fun tweets Sunday. Yeah. So the Earnhardts are going camping. I'm turning 50 this year, and I'm wanting to. First off, I want to ask you guys: did y'all try app limits?
I did.
You did.
And
all right.
so
Your
I was at the Waste Management Phoenix Open over the weekend, and I tried to make a point. I actually physically turned my phone off.
Is that an expo for Waste Management?
No,
Sorry.
it's a golf tournament.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's sponsored by the garbage company. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
But I turned my phone off, and I noticed like halfway through the day I wasn't even reaching for it. Like there was no urge to actually want to use it.
Because you knew you were locked out.
Because I knew like I would have to power my phone on, and then I would fail at the task at hand.
Yeah.
So but like if it was on, I know I would check it. So I had to physically power it off. But it was actually very nice. It was living in the moment.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So
Every other day I failed, but
Yeah.
on Saturday it
One
worked
day.
out.
Yeah.
I didn't set app limits, but I did look at my screen time.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't. That's your job, right?
Yeah.
It's
I mean, I
social
can't
media,
get
so
away
let's
from
not,
it.
Let's not take too far.
I think I did
don't
go
get to
over
play,
on the TikTok time, though.
We're not going to ask you to play long.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So while I was sort of breaking the rules on Sunday of app limits, so I've been thinking about turning 50. Told Amy I didn't want to have a party. Got a little pushback on that, but I really don't. We did a big 40th. That was my big party. I don't need another.
You're done with the big parties.
I don't need another big party. That one was. We're never going to make it that good, right? We won't.
Right.
But I do want to celebrate with friends, but it ain't going to be this, everybody meet at this location. It's tonight.
Surprise.
100, 150 people, none of that. So I want to do experiences, man. I'm starting to make a little list, things I want to do and go places I'm going to go. We've already got a couple trips planned this year. And so I thought, I've been sharing a little bit on social media and maybe on here about maybe getting a camper.
Nice.
I looked at truck campers. I've looked at all types of options, right? And I am very cheap, and I like minimalist stuff. I don't like complex, tricky, confusing things. I want to push a button, turn it on, shut it off. I want it to work easily, crank. I want every car I get into, I want it to crank right up, right? So I'm same way looking at this, camper situation. I want something simple and easy and practical. But the more I look into it and the more I think about it, right, with my family, I need the space. So got to messing around on social media and have been kind of going through this process mentally, trying to find the right thing. And I think I've landed on a good fifth wheel. And so I'm going to go through the process of acquiring this. And I got it on clear. It's a 2023 model that didn't sell, so it's on clearance. So I'll automatically, getting it at a reduced rate. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a bunkhouse. Has to have that for the girls. It's not a toy hauler. Don't want that. Doesn't have a generator. Got to figure that out. Got to get a truck to pull it. So I found a used 2021 dually down at Terry Labonte's dealership.
Okay.
So we're good there. Ain't gonna buy no brand new dually for this. So, anyways, I'm getting excited. Probably gonna use it on Easter camping with the family when we go to Texas to see Amy's family. So, got a couple other places we could go and do, and obviously can use this when I go race at Florence, which I'm excited about doing a couple more times this year. So, while I was having this conversation, Camping World and Marcus.
I saw that on Twitter. Lamonis.
Yeah, he hops on. He's like, man, this dude is always giving campers out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in that day on Sunday, there were 3 different sort of
those
scenarios where you could get a camper. Hey, man, retweet hashtag Super Bowl Sunday, win a camper.
Yeah.
Hey, Dale, pick a camper, and we'll give a camper away to somebody. And so that's kind of.
I'll take one if he's giving them away.
Yeah.
So we were going to go to the skating rink, which is another story. And I tweeted out about the camper and maybe getting one, and then went to the skating rink, put my phone down. 2.5, 3 hours later, I get back on the phone, and Marcus has already said, and Camping World's already said, pick one, and then we're going to give one away. And so, man, that was kind of neat, just out of nowhere. So I'm looking forward to that. Probably should have my camper and inside a week, and my truck hopefully.
That soon.
Yeah.
And now you just got to figure the generator out.
Yeah, I think I'll probably just put one in the back of the truck. But I'm reaching out to some experts.
Some generator experts?
Camping
experts.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably.
But I probably will bring. Hey, you know what? I might actually bring the generator experts into the conversation.
I would bring them into the conversation.
Yes.
Just be an expert for everything. Dually
have
expert.
the camper experts talk to the generator experts.
Yeah. But I mentioned the roller skating.
Well, hold on. I want to go. You said you wanted to do like experiences. So like,
Yes.
what are the other things on that bucket list that you have?
Let's take a look. Well, look, I love Key West.
Okay.
Right? I've been there a million times. I know that's not a new experience, but I cannot not go to Key West once a year. I have to go down there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like seeing family or an old
Mhm.
friend. I cannot not go. So Key West is on my list, and usually I will go down there for like 2 nights. We went last year, but I'll probably go for a little bit of a longer trip this time. We got a plan to go to Europe
Ooh.
for a little trip. We might go to Europe twice.
Wow.
So it's really possible this year I go to Scotland, England, and Ireland.
Very cool.
Yeah, all in the same year.
Have you ever been to those places
No.
before?
No, I haven't. I've always wanted to go to England because my mother's family, the G's, are
Yeah.
from England, and I've kind of wanted to go to this very specific part of England called the G Cross and say that I've been there. Right? That's
Yeah.
where that's where that side of my family's from. So we talked about doing that. There's another thing that I want to do that I can't wait to bring Amy on to talk about, but that'll be later in the year in October, November, taking Amy on a hunt.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
How does is she open to the idea?
She is. She's not excited about it.
Yeah.
Not at all. But
Yeah.
I've got a stand where there's I got a tree where there's 2 stands in it. And so I would, she could sit with me and in the same tree. And I don't even care if we end up harvesting a deer. I just want to sit in the woods and watch the deer with her and let her. She's never done it. I want to let her kind of decide for herself whether it's worth her time or not. But also, we camp, we cook, and ride into town. There's this historic town near our hunting camp that's fun to go to. She's been there before, but we'd have a fun 2 days.
You got
And
to. Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
want to say, like, the hunting part of it is literally like max 3 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get in a stand and then it's night.
Right.
So I mean, you're not really in the stand all that much. Maybe 6 hours the entire trip.
You got to start like getting her excited about it now, or like you laying the.
I've told her,
laying the seeds.
Well, we're sharing a list of things that I want to do, and that's on it. So, anyways, I'm pretty excited about all of that. I do want to talk about the skating rink. So this blew my mind. Skateland USA in Kannapolis, North Carolina. When I lived with my mother, she was divorced from Dad. I was 5 and 6 years old. I remember her taking us to the Skateland USA, and I remember skating a lot. And I'd never been back to the skating rink since, any skating rink. And so 44 years later, somebody we know, their child is having a birthday party, and our kids were invited, so we're going to take them. I didn't know Skateland still existed. I didn't know the building and the business was still there operating. We drive into the parking lot, and I'm like, I've got an idea and an imagination of what it looked like or where it might have been, and I was a little bit off, but it's a couple blocks away from where I thought it was. But we pull up, and literally this building hadn't changed. I took some photos, put it on my social media story. The sign's the same, the building's the same. It looks, it's 50 years old.
Yeah.
It looks it, okay? But there's a line outside to get in. You go up there and man, you walk into the place and it's the same place that I hadn't seen. I'm 44 years.
Yeah, it's like go back in time.
4 years. There's orange shag carpet on the walls.
That's so awesome.
Original.
Yeah.
This reminds me of like the places that are still around in the race program.
Yeah.
Like this is one of those
The
places.
coin games, the arcade,
Mhm.
little arcade in the corner, the coin games, all original. Skee ball and all that stuff. The tables, the
Right.
brick wall that separates the seating area from the skating rink, all that's still original. The rink, I think the floor itself, majority of it's probably original. But both of my girls, it was so much fun. Both of my girls skated and they had these little walker type things to go skate with. So I'm out there with them. Took them both around mini laps. So much fun, and just blew my mind that last time I was there, I was 5, maybe 6. I'm there now 44 years later for the first time with my 5-year-old girl skating on that skating rink. And the place is just identical. It was very, I'm super nostalgic, right? That was triggering me. And largely 80% like great, happy thoughts, but also some sadness, right? Some like, mom's gone.
Right.
All the, just the,
times are different.
Yeah, times are different. Things are different. But here's this place that's lost it. It's standing there, locked in time. Right. It felt like I had ported back into 1979. But it was crazy.
Do you still got the skills? You skate?
I'm as good. It took me about 5 minutes, and I was as good the other day as I was when I was 5.
Right.
Which is about like not good.
Okay. Yeah.
But no, it was good. I got it figured out.
Take any spills?
No.
All right.
Hey, you and Usher both roller skated on Sunday.
Yeah.
Practicing routine.
That's one of the things, man. So I'm having this sort of weird, experience going back to the skating rink, and then watching the Super Bowl halftime. They're all skating like hell. I'm like, is the universe trying to tell me something? Like, do I need to open a skating rink?
Skating is so back.
Hell yeah.
Do I need to partner with Skateland in Kannapolis and refurbish this place a little bit, or what's going on?
Hell
What is this? What's the universe trying to tell me? I was sitting in there, man. I'm gonna tell you, I was surprised at the amount of people skating.
It's the
only one in the area. I mean, there's another one up in like Hickory, but that's about it. Yeah.
All like 5 to 20 was the majority of the age group, right? But yeah, I was and it's open from like 2 to 5.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
so it's like this little blip of everybody got to get in there and skate, man. It's only open for 3 hours.
It's a good time.
I enjoy it.
I did like free skate over the winter holidays for the first time in years, and like, oh man, this is fun.
That's right. You used to play hockey.
Yeah. I used to play hockey.
Okay.
He's skilled.
Well, man, I enjoyed it. They play great music. You just get out there and cruise around with your friends. I think it's gonna make a comeback. I get this weird.
I'm here for
I
it.
get this weird feeling.
Yeah.
I know. I used to think skating was kind of weird.
Yeah.
It was fun when I was a kid, and then I thought it was kind of strange. And not cool, and now it's gonna be cool again. I think.
I was a blader though.
Roller skating is batter, man.
Yeah,
it's bad.
That was Andrew's word before the show.
All them kids. Yeah. Look at that.
It's not quite cake.
It's not quite cake yet.
It's not cooked yet.
It's batter.
Yeah. It's making a comeback. Yeah,
that's it. We
found we talked about the Icebreaker. I went this past weekend and raced my late model. Last couple of times that I've been behind the wheel of my late model car, it's not been great results. I've been frustrated a little bit, but I went to Florence, where I love to race in South Carolina, and tested. We worked hard to try to find some speed. I wasn't sure if we had, but we were going to go back and race the Icebreaker, which we've done the last 2 years. And so we qualified 13th, I think, which I was happy with. There were 32 cars. I think a top 15 qualifying effort is kind of what you're looking for. Of course, you want to be as far forward as you can. But inside the top 15 is going to give you a great opportunity at winning the race. We started the race off and just kind of moved forward. One car at a time. Every 10 or 15 laps, we'd pass somebody. I wasn't sure if I was using my car up and my tires. You got to, it's a very abrasive racetrack. You got to take care of your tires, and I was worried that maybe I was trying too hard. Was everybody that I was passing taking better care of their tires? Were they smarter than me? Time would tell. We got down toward the end of the race. I'm sitting there running 4th with 20 laps to go. Running down the leaders, thinking I got a great shot to finish 3rd, maybe 2nd. And I was probably going to use up every bit of the good I had left on my tires, getting around 1 or 2 cars in front of me. Doubt I'd had enough to catch the leader and win the race. But, man, I'm sitting there with 20 to go thinking, nope, I haven't used up too much of my stuff. Nope, those guys aren't saving because they're not coming. They would be, with 20 to go, everybody would be trying to move forward if they had anything. So everything has worked out well. Caution comes out. My car didn't fire off really strong. Took me about 10 laps to get going. So ended up settling for a 4th place and had a blast. I was so thrilled. Carson Quapple, our driver in our late model Junior Motorsports, wins the race. Johnny Morris is there, our sponsor for Bass Pro, right? On our late models, we got Bass Pro Shops and Sundrop. Well, Johnny flies from Missouri to be there.
Did you know this was happening?
Yes.
Okay.
But I thought, when I heard Johnny was coming, I'm like, man, all the way to Florence? And our little tiny Florence racetrack, that's just, trying to do all it can do. I thought for sure something was going to come up, right? A scheduling conflict. We can't make it. We're running late. We're just going to go on to Florida because he's on his way to Florida. And so he shows up, comes walking in. And, man, I give him the whole story of Florence and why we were there in, like, 15 minutes. I was like, this is grassroots racing. The sport, all the truck, Xfinity, and Cup level, they're standing on the shoulders of places like this, right? This is what the sport's all about. And we want to be here because we love being here. And look around, right? What's better than this? And all those people are his customers, right? So he's like, he gets it. And so he enjoyed it. I did not anticipate him staying the entire race. They got there. They had about 2 hours to kill. People were coming up to him, wanting pictures and autographs and just talking. And he talked to everybody and anybody. And then he'd bring them over and introduce them to me. Meet this guy. He's from such and such. Meet this gal. She's from here and there. They traveled from such and such to be here. He loved it. We win the race, and I run 4th. I come get out of the car. He comes walking up. This is great. This is crazy. I can't believe this, he says, right? And I'm like, man, I can't believe you're still here. Johnny, your car won. Let's take you to victory lane. We go over to victory lane. They hand us the trophy. I walked over to Carson. I said, Carson, I'm giving this trophy to Johnny, all right? Carson didn't have no problem with it. Every time they win a race, which Carson wins quite a few, the trophies end up on the shelf over at the shop. I'll go over there, and there's the trophy. I'm like, nobody takes this home? Carson, you don't take this home and put it somewhere in your house? He's like, no. And so I'm like, I'm going to give this trophy to Johnny. And I handed it to Johnny. I said, Johnny, here, you can have this trophy. He was pumped. They had a checkered flag and a big giant check with Carson's name on it. Johnny had 2 other guys with him. I gave one the checkered flag and one the giant check. So everybody got to go home with something. They went on to Florida and watched Wyatt race his dirt car. We drank a few beers and hung out at the track while everybody left, and then eventually got in the dually and drove home. We stopped at a gas station, had a sandwich shop on the side, and got us a bite to eat on the way home. It was just like old times, eating dinner at 9:30 at night.
Not
after a
speeding
day
through
at the
McBee.
racetrack. No, we talked all the way home, just talking and having fun.
Were you nervous before the race?
I always get nervous. I just, I hadn't run as good as I expect in our late model car the last couple of trips. Okay, but not competing for top 5s and wins. So that was good. I mean, we still got a ways to go to catch Carson and those guys. They qualified better. I think if I could have qualified as well as they did in the top 5, I wouldn't have had to work so hard to get up to that point. But we made some progress, man, so I was pumped about that.
When you found out Johnny was coming, did that add any extra pressure to you and or Carson?
Yes. If we struggled, which me and Carson, I think last year, both of us struggled bad in the Icebreaker, finishing outside of top 15, both cars. So if that happened, I'd been disappointed. But anyways, it was a great day. Johnny went on down and watched Wyatt race, and Johnny said that was an awesome, awesome day with him and his buddies. I'm going to race, I guess I'll just say it, man. So the All-Star Week.
North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, the All-Star Week with North Wilkesboro, there is a CARS Tour race that I've ran the last 2 years. Unfortunately, this year I have a scheduling conflict. I have to be in New York City. Our Sundrop car plans to compete, but with a to-be-determined driver. When I get back from New York City, I will be my bus will be at the racetrack, so I'm going to go to Wilkesboro. I'm going to enjoy the concerts and all the things that we did last year. Hopefully, drinking beer with Dylan Wilson and his family over at their garage. All the things that we just had a blast with last year. I hope we do it again. And watching a great race on a newly paved racetrack.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So that would have been probably my next race, but I'm not going to get to do that. So right now, unless I do something spur of the moment, the next late model race I run will be the CARS Tour race at Florence on Darlington weekend, the second Darlington week, probably in August or so. And but I could have an opportunity pop up at the last minute, and we'll keep you posted if that happens in the spring. And I have heard, and I'm not going to let the details out, but I do know that everything has been decided on where I'm going to run my one Xfinity race this year.
Ooh.
Hopefully that news will be coming out shortly. But I'm very happy about it. Also this weekend, Daytona 500. I'm going to Daytona. I know the weather doesn't look all that great, guys, but if the weather looks like we might race Saturday, I'm flying up Saturday morning. I'm going to go on Marty and McGee around 9 a.m., 9:30. And so, that literally just happened with a conversation
You made
last
that
week.
plan.
Yeah,
with Marty.
Isn't that fun?
Happened on the show.
In this day and age where you got to check with this person or sign this agreement or my people will get with your people, it's fun when you can just say, hey, how about I come over and let's do the thing. I love doing business that way. So, yeah, Marty McGee Saturday morning from 9:30 to 10. They'll be at Daytona from doing their show, I think, from 7 to 10 or 8 to 10. And that's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully we get to see Junior Motorsports get the win. Then I'm coming home to watch the Daytona 500 from my couch. One of the great things about this particular year is that it's the 10th and the 20th anniversary of my two Daytona 500 wins from 2014 and 2004. Been doing a few articles, did one with Jordan Bianchi, but doing a few things with the media around those races, reliving them, talking about them. Just maybe a year ago or so, I uploaded all the in-car. I had an in-car video from that race that I uploaded. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's uploaded that in-car footage from that race onto YouTube. But the reason why I did that is because that showcases my favorite memory from that 2004 race. In the in-car from that race, they have some very basic telemetry, throttle, and you get to kind of see, and it's a percentage. It's a bar of throttle graph, but it's also got a percentage to it. But you get to see, as we're driving around the old Daytona that's worn out, slick, you can see us using the gas. And now we're lifting and coming off the throttle because of the car is sliding, right, and sliding the back or the nose. But I'm also trying to time runs. And so, this is a lesson that I share with any driver that I talk to about restrictor plate racing. And I believe that it still applies today with the current car. If you're driving around the Daytona International Speedway, the most vulnerable moment for the car is exiting the turn, right? You flew down the straightaway holding the wheel straight, and the car's building up speed, and then you go into the corner and you turn the wheel. Turning the wheel is going to scrub speed off, and loading the car into the banking also sort of knocks speed out of the car. And as it goes around this corner, it's continuing to bring the speed down just ever so slightly. And coming up off the corner, that's when the car is literally scrubbing the most speed or has scrubbed the most speed and you're starting just before you're about to unwind the wheel for the straightaway. So that's where the car is the most vulnerable to a pass, to side drafting. And so I wanted to time my run so that I caught Tony Stewart, who's leading the race, on the corner exit. And I really didn't know, as good as I think I am at plate racing, I really didn't know when to start that run. All right, I need to back up to get the run, but how far do I back up, and when do I start charging back toward him so that When we exit a corner, I'm right on him. And so I kept doing this, and you can watch the throttle from the in-car of me trying to time it. And I try and fail. I'm running up on him at the wrong place. I'm catching him at the end of the straightaway. I'm catching him in the tri-oval. I'm catching him in the wrong places. Or I created no run at all, right? And so eventually, one works. I'm starting to lose a little bit of confidence, but I'm gonna keep trying. 20 laps to go. What else I got to do, right? It's me, Tony Stewart, and Kurt Busch. Now, Kurt's not helping me. We've talked about this a million times, but Kurt's mad because I bumped into him in the middle part of the race and flattened his left rear tire. He lost a lap, and he's a lap down and stayed a lap down the entire day. And he comes on the radio, or Tony Jr. tells me on the radio, the 97 is not going to help you. All right, so you're going to have to figure this out on your own. And but finally, I timed it where I run up on Tony exiting turn 4. So I'm going 5 or 10 mile an hour faster as I approach his car, and he's bogged down off turn 4, and the camera switches from one view to the next right as we have this sort of duel, this dodge. Like I went left and he blocked it, and I went right. Well, the camera doesn't really catch all of that, and the next time you see us, I'm to his outside, and we're coming into the tri-oval. Or I'm to his inside, I'm sorry. And so you don't really see this sort of, dodginess that we had happening. But I had the run, and I couldn't lift, and I've timed it perfect, and I've got to get to his side, left or right. I get to the inside, and now we do a little side drafting. But either way, I don't clear him. I don't have enough momentum to go by him, but I've gotten beside him. And so now I got to start a new plan, right? Okay, we've achieved the goal of getting here and up beside Tony, because man, it was impossible to drive by him or up beside him without creating that run. You couldn't do it. The cars were too equal. He could have just sit there about 2 car lengths in front of me the entire rest of the race and not had any problem holding me off. But finally, I'm beside him, and I'm like, okay, now what? Now what do we do? Now what do we need to do to finish this pass? I'm not going to get help from the 97, and he's actually going behind Tony. And I'm getting worried because if he gets really close, he'll push Tony right back by me. And then maybe he even gets beside me, and now I'm stuck beside him. He might wedge himself between me and Tony, and the race is over. But anyhow, we're going around. We're going down the front straightaway into turn 1, and Tony's up the racetrack, and I'm around the bottom. And I'm trying to drop back to his quarter panel to start a side draft. And as soon as I get back to his quarter panel, I'm going to go up there and side draft him and try to slingshot past him. That's all I could do. And luckily, when we come off of turn 2, Tony has me cleared. He's got me cleared by about 2 inches. If he pulled down in front of me, we wouldn't have hit. He would have been shoved back out into the lead and probably won the race. But I got right to his quarter panel, and again, I'm 2 inches, probably 2 inches behind him, but I'm still offset to the left, trying to sniff a side draft. And I don't know if it's going to work because I'm not close enough forward, right, to actually be anywhere beside his car. But it was a tiny, tiny hint of side draft happening. And it starts pulling me up by him. And I'm getting close. I'm getting further up beside him. And so the side draft worked. The air coming off of Tony's car is like the wake of a boat. He's cutting the air with the nose of his car, and it comes off. It's shaped like a V, right? It doesn't wrap around and go down the sides tight against his car. It's the wake of a boat, but it's at the front of Tony's car, not at the back, okay? So there's this big V. And so inside that V, kind of tucked up beside Tony's left side door, is a pocket where the air is less dense. And that's how the side draft works. I'm driving my car up into this gap where there's really no resistance, no air. And so the closer I get to Tony, and you'll see this today, how they get really, really tight. The tighter you can get to that car, the more profound the side draft will be. And we actually bump. and we have a little touch. It knocked a little bit of speed out of his car, which is helpful. It might have settled him down a half a mile an hour or something like that, but it allowed the side draft was just perfect. And I sprung away from him because you got to kind of jump that wake if you were going to ski behind a boat. You got to jump the wake so that I can get away from Tony and his side draft, right? Because if I just stayed beside him and went forward, he would then begin side drafting me, and he goes right back by, and we just could sit there and do that over and over. But I get away from him once I know that I think I got all the momentum I can create with the side draft. I get away, and I'll never know why, but he could have chased me down the track and tried to side draft my quarter panel, but he didn't. I don't know why. He just watched me go by, and I clear off into 3, and I'm like, wow. I'm in the lead. I'm like blown away. And so I love watching that sequence of probably 20 to 40 laps there where I'm messing with the throttle and trying to figure out how to make a run out of nothing, right, without another car helping me or anything. And I didn't think it was even possible for my car to do that. But me and Tony had the 2 strongest cars. Mine was a little bit better, and as soon as I got the lead, I knew that he was never going to have a shot.
You could
put a run on us. Yeah. 4 or 5 laps to go, I'm listening to our car and all these little sounds and things and freaking out, thinking their yellow's going to come out. Somebody's going to wreck. Somebody's going to get impatient and stupid, trying to go for a spot late in the race, and we're going to have a yellow and have to race it out. But it didn't work that way. We ended up crossing the finish line, winning the race. I stopped on the front straightaway. The reason why is because if you go straight to victory lane, you could do some donuts like Dad did, all that stuff. But if you go to victory lane, man, they kind of have you in their control. Victory lane is a process. It's a script. The hat dance, take this picture, get out, do the interview, all those things, right? You don't get out of the car and just do what you want to do, right? I mean, you can, but they're going to grab you by the collar and say, come over here and do this interview, all right? It's live television. And so I pulled on the front straightaway because I'm like, I need to do my thing for a minute. I got all this elation,
right.
And it's like a cork.
Yeah.
And it's like champagne bottle about to explode, and I got to relieve this elation. And so that was great. I was looking at the pictures of that yesterday. And so just coming out of the car and all the guys running out there, Jay Gennari and all the team from the Bud Days, and then you finally get have to have that moment to yourself, and then you go to victory lane, right? Then you do that, and you do it all. And victory lane's still a celebration. I mean, it is fun, of course it is, but it's nice to do this little thing with your team on your own that's not on the script.
Yeah.
2014. We've told that story a million times, but the big rain delay.
That was my first day on the job, was that race. And I remember that rain delay was like, 8 hours or something like that?
6, I think. But the weird thing is that every time you get in a race car, you have a different attitude, a different mentality. I rarely got in the car feeling exactly the same as last week. Your motivation, your expectations, it's a moving target. It's very dynamic, all over the place. I got in the car for the start of that race, not in the correct mindset to win it. It was I don't know what happened in that break, but without the break, I don't think we win that race. We had the break, and something like during that break was like,
mentally,
we're gonna, I'm ready to get this thing going. Let's get out there and let's get it going. And so if you look at the race and watch it, I raced both of those 2 parts differently.
Yeah.
And in the first half of the race, I couldn't figure out how to move forward, and I was getting very frustrated and I was losing like confidence in me or the car and us together, me and the car. It was not good. But then we had this long break, and you just kind of, it's long enough that you forget about all of the things that have knocked your confidence down. You forget about the struggle the car was having or you were having with the car. And it's a new race. It's a new moment. and the track's changed. It's been cleaned off. It's night now.
Mm-hmm.
It's late, and now all the other drivers' mentality is different. I always felt like when we ran night races or had delays or anything, it was an advantage for me mentally, because I knew how easy it was to check out
At a racetrack.
Yeah, especially the races that get pushed to Monday.
Yeah.
Dude, if you go down on the grid for the pre-race and the driver's announcements and stuff on a typical Sunday, and then compare that to a rain-out Monday race,
It's completely different.
the energy is not the same.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's the drivers. And you can tell some of them are like, I'm ready to go home.
Right.
Hell with this. And you can see that some of them just aren't there to kick ass. And I always thought, here's my advantage. I'm going to try to stay in kick-ass mode. And, man, maybe that's going to give me even a better opportunity, right, today.
Right.
Whether that was real or not, I don't know. But, I think when we had that break, a lot of people checked out. And, I thought, man, I'm gonna stay plugged in. And when the key moment of that race for me, there's a little segment with like 40 to 60 laps to go where Greg Biffle and me are racing side by side, and we had a hell of a battle for the lead. And I might have lost it and ended up having to try to get it back, but I had to squeeze him against the wall. And going through when I think about the 2014 race, I'd go right to that moment.
Wasn't that around the time where you guys weren't sure if rain was going to cut this thing short too?
I don't remember that.
You don't remember
No,
racing for the rain?
I don't, but I remember driving like a complete jerk, and selfishly, right? Not like hitting and bumping and cutting and blocking, not that way. I'm saying, like, you know what? Typically, if you got 5 guys on the outside of me and y'all are organized, I'm not going to argue and side draft you, and I'm not, you're going by, okay? And I'll get back to 5th, or I'll try to stay in 3rd or 4th, and then a few laps later maybe get my run and try to get back to the lead. I didn't do it that way in the second half of that 2014 Daytona 500. Man, when the 16 Biffle got to my outside trying to take the lead from me, I squeezed him up against the wall, and it really so I could hold him in position. Even with Jimmy or somebody behind him,
Mm-hmm.
or somebody trying to push him by, I could, if I squeezed him up against the wall, something about the air, our cars fighting for the same cow air, and something about, I don't know what it was, but I just knew that if I gave him a car length or half a car length, he could get pushed right through. But if I squeezed him, and he had like a couple inches between him and the wall, and there another couple inches between me and him, it held him in position. It would stop his car. And even the guy pushing him was nervous to push him, because he's like, they could crash. He could hit me in the right rear quarter panel, right? So that kind of bottles him up and knocks him off his game. And they eventually get pushed back by me, but it was allowing me to like kind of at least maintain some track position, not get shuffled back too far. And then I was able to get right back by. But I just remember like racing very selfishly, and that's, it's not my character, I don't think. I wouldn't categorize myself as somebody who's constantly selfish. But in those moments, to win the Daytona 500 or win at Talladega, the more selfish you can be, the better.
Yeah.
Yes. So we got 2 lessons in today's class, right? All right. Being super
Taking
selfish.
notes.
Yeah. You're being super selfish is one, and then trying to time the runs so that you catch them in the most vulnerable position is another one. But coming off of that 2014 Daytona 500 win, we ended up joining Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I told everybody if I win the Daytona 500, I didn't want to join Twitter. Didn't want to. And I knew the odds of me winning the Daytona 500, they weren't very high. Nobody had great odds. It's a tough race to win. So I said, you know what? If I win the Daytona 500, I will join Twitter. Didn't think I was going to have to follow through.
There's that picture.
Yeah. And so that's probably my most liked and retweeted tweet from 2014. And then, so we send that tweet out, and then we get in a plane and we fly out to the West Coast to do all this media. And so on the way to the West Coast, I got a crash course from Laura, our PR girl at the time, on all of the ins and outs of Twitter, what things were. It's got its, there's a language, right? Everything, there's these descriptions of how things function, and so that was interesting. We did a Q&A on the plane on the way out there, which was a lot of fun, and it really opened up a whole new world. And
Can of worms.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So we were going to revisit some past tweets.
I have some past tweets for you.
Let's get after
it. We'll pull them up on the screen here. So, Dalton, if you're ready to cue them up.
Obviously, the infamous first one, right? But the next one is a personal favorite of mine.
Oh, yeah. So Gus is fertilizing the lawn at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and it's a picture of him in the infield at Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is right next to the start-finish line, and Gus is taking a dump. And so the contrast of Gus pooping and where Gus is at, I thought was really profound, right?
That's a great picture.
Otherwise, tweeting a picture of your dog taking a shit would be really bad.
Yeah.
Right?
That'd
be so strange.
Yeah.
But I thought, where you, it may be, I think it's borderline strange today, maybe 10 years from now, even stranger. It's one of those tweets that maybe you're like, we don't pull it up 10 years from now, right?
Look at what we're doing.
At the 20th anniversary, this one we skip over. But it was just the contrast of where we were and what was happening. I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't know if we were out at the racetrack for a specific function or what. It doesn't look like it's post-race or anything like that. I thought it might have been after the truck race that do you remember when it was?
No, I was going to say don't take a picture of your dog taking a dump. Was that not in the original crash course on the plane?
Yeah.
No.
So,
I mean, that's just
it's not your fault.
No, but that's just common sense. That's character flaw if you're posting those type of pictures on the regular. But, I like to take pictures and I don't know, that was an interesting.
You would say you like taking that picture?
Yeah, I did because, I know Marcus Smith, right, that owns the racetrack. And this is obviously grass, not the turf that we have there now. And so I was trying to also at the same time needle him a little bit because he's, Gus is pooping on his grass.
Yeah, that's right.
You're not,
need to fix that.
You don't want the neighbor's dog pooping on your lawn.
No.
So
Turf is better.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that was kind of fun to give him a hard time.
Yeah.
Hey, Marcus, check us out.
Oh man!
Let's
All right,
get
we got the next one. Let's see, what do we got?
I don't know how much more I can expound on the Gus pooping.
So this guy tweets, Dale Jr., would you trade a toe for a championship? And you said, no, I would not trade a toe for a championship, Dustin.
No.
I think this is 2014, so this is pretty early in your Twitter run.
It was, yeah. So
you wouldn't, man?
No.
Still not?
Are you freaking kidding me? No, a toe?
No shot.
Yeah, come on.
No
I
shot.
would trade a toe for a
You
championship.
would not.
Absolutely.
No, you wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
You're a
Yes.
you're
You're so
runner,
full
a
of shit.
triathlete.
You don't need the pinky toe. Like, get rid of the least important appendage. If it means a championship, dude.
You don't know how important that thing is till you don't have it.
I don't know. I feel like that pinky toe just gets, like, crumpled as it is, just in your shoe. No?
I don't know.
I feel like we're talking about feet too much.
Yes.
A little bit. Yeah.
I
totally would.
I got to draw the line at body parts, man. I'm not
Right.
going to give up, a
Right.
kidney or a
He's
toe.
not asking for a kidney, though.
I'm just saying other examples of parts of me that I'm not.
So you wouldn't give up anything.
No. Look. All right, I've lived without a championship for a while. It's not that bad.
Never lived without a toe.
Not that bad. I don't need to give a toe up. If I did give a toe up right now and then magically have a championship, nothing has changed except I do have a weird foot. Only 4 toes on one foot. Now
no one would know, though.
Now I'm some kind of weird oddity.
Yeah.
Yeah, freak. I'm
Yeah.
a freak over here
With a championship.
with a championship. No thanks.
Hey, that Jimmy Johnson guy at the hot tub, he could give you a little less trouble about the championships and maybe more trouble about the feet.
Is Jimmy going around with only 3 toes?
Oh,
I mean,
God.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something we need to investigate. See if he's only got 3 toes down there.
Anybody seen Jimmy in flip flops?
Never. No, there's a reason for that.
I'm gonna see him in Daytona, so I will
Yes.
ask. I will ask
right.
how many toes he has.
That sounds like some deal with the devil, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to do
Yeah,
that.
no. I can't do that either.
Okay.
We'll get on to the next
All
one.
right. Next one.
Yes, this is such bullshit.
4.0 Uber
All right,
rating.
let's
Have you
check
improved it?
Oh yeah, let's take a look at my Uber rating now.
Did
It's
you
probably
make a new
still kind of
account?
low. No, I did not. Okay, I joined Uber right as they were So for the longest time, you weren't allowed to tip. Right?
I remember that, yeah.
Originally, you weren't allowed to tip. I'm a 4.8.
Oh, dang.
Yep.
Way
So
up.
0.8
Yeah.
improvement.
Yes. So right when I joined, everybody's like, yeah, you're not allowed to tip. Because I'm like, hey, I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing. What's the etiquette? Well, literally, that freaking week, the tipping begins. You can
Brutal.
now tip. And I'm not tipping. So I'm getting bad ratings. I get out of the car. I'm like, all right, man, see you. Thanks. And he drives around and no tip happens. You know, I guess they drive around and they're kind of like,
Waiting
such and
on that
such,
tip.
yeah, such driver hadn't tipped me yet. I wonder what that's all about. Well, all right, F him, and I'm gonna give him a bad rating. And so, yeah, and I thought 4 was good, man. 4 out of 5. Hey, that's pretty good for a hotel, right?
Yeah.
4 out of 5 stars.
I'd stay there.
To be
4 star.
80%.
Okay. We look at the world differently, Andrew.
A little bit.
Yeah.
We're a little too far removed from school over here.
I mean, I was a C student though.
Oh, so you're batting above your average
Yeah,
there.
I know, right? If I was getting in the high 70s, I was happy. Of course, back when I was in school, a 70 was a 69 was failing.
Yep.
So 70
Yep.
was sort of the. Now it's lower, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's
It's like-
more room.
Yeah, it's good. Weird, huh?
Yeah.
Like, hey,
I don't get that.
I mean, making a 70 was not that
Yeah.
hard. Why'd they have to drop that?
I don't know.
That's weird.
Felt bad
Okay.
to people.
So, anyways, so I've been trying to build that back up, trying to do some good
Good for you.
tipping, things like that.
Mm.
And man, when I got to consider who's with me. I'm always happy to be the one to call the Uber.
To just get that rating
Yep.
up.
To get it gives me that opportunity. There
Good.
you go.
There you go.
So we're doing good.
All right.
So what was that? 2017.
So dang, in how many years?
Almost 10 years to get it to a 4.8. My gosh.
All right. This is actually funny because we were just talking about the Clash last week. So the first tweet is just your take, which we learned hasn't really changed much. But what I thought was funny is that you were fighting over TV time with Isla for Peppa Pig.
Oh, yeah. So what year was this?
That's a good question.
Doesn't
this
say
is a
up there.
screenshot from my phone.
Yeah. Well, my profile pic has changed, and that's been at least a year. But
And I guess we should read this for the podcast listeners too.
this probably was a Daytona.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So we've had this conversation last week about the Clash. I guess I was a little too animated, too serious about it, but it's a very, very passionate. Not everybody agrees with my take on the Clash, going to Daytona and being 20 laps and being pole sitters, right? But we can dream. And yeah, I missed the first quarter of the Super Bowl because of Bluey.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Isla and the girls were watching Bluey.
So you're still fighting over the TV time?
No fighting, just
No fight.
That's
You're
fine.
good with it.
Yeah, it's fine.
You did not miss much in the first quarter. So.
Well, it's kind of like the app limits. Yep, 30 minutes is up, it's up.
yeah.
So, I ended up getting to watch the second quarter and the rest of the games. So it was fun.
Ah, yes.
Oh, Jesus, man.
Making my favorite sandwich. I swear it's delicious, and it's the banana and mayo sandwich.
Broke
I
the
got
internet with
infamous
this
I
one.
got so much hell over this tweet. So, all right. So when I was a little boy, we made banana and mayonnaise sandwiches, tomato and mayonnaise, very basic stuff. That is a good sandwich. And we may just have to have everybody in this room try it if you hadn't tried it.
I don't think I've tried it.
Yeah, okay. So who has tried it?
Micah
All right,
has.
Micah's tried it. Micah, good? Good. Okay. Listen, the trick. Now, Hellman's, if you look at that picture, there's a lot of mayonnaise there.
Yeah.
And Hellman's is going to advertise, hey, we got to see the mayonnaise, right?
Right.
Me, I like to spread it on thin, and when I do a mayo banana sandwich, it's about putting a little mayonnaise on both pieces of bread, but thin, right? Like butter.
Right.
And so, that's a little bit more mayonnaise than I would probably use, but it's a good sandwich. I like it.
I'm out on it.
Anyways,
I'm a little skeptical.
Listen, if you ain't tried it, you're going to eat one. And
I'm signed up for this.
We're bringing this back.
Yeah.
After how long?
If y'all are going to do this to me,
Uh-huh.
you're eating a sandwich.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
because this tweet is both good and bad.
Oh.
Yeah, for me, a good and bad memory.
Oh, because all the hell you caught.
Yes, I caught a ton of hell. People, I had no idea that there would be so many food critics out there on Twitter. But a lot of people were like, this ain't it, man. What the hell are you doing?
That should have been part of the crash course.
Some
is
kind
that
of joke?
There are some food critics out there for
Yes,
sure.
Yes. They didn't tell me that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this I caught hell
Mm-hmm.
for this tweet. But
Caught Hellmans.
Maybe deservingly so. God, that was so stupid.
Sorry.
Oh,
All
man.
right.
That was good,
yeah,
though. All
we
right.
ended up having a lot of fun with it, but it was good.
God, helmets.
Golly.
I know. All right, one more.
I literally that wasn't even a like a promotional ad tweet.
You're just.
I was
just heard.
standing.
That's for the love of the
I was
game.
standing there twiddling thumbs at the production shoot, and they had this sitting out, right? Because I told they were gonna have me make the sandwich during the production shoot, and so I got there. I'm standing around waiting on my turn to start, waiting on my time to begin work, and I saw that, and I went, take a picture, put it on Twitter. Whoops. That
Brutal.
That did
was
not
it.
go. That did
They
not
had a banana and mayo sandwich waiting for you? Or sandwich
is
ingredients? Right.
That was sitting there. I didn't put that together.
So was that someone else's meal?
No, I'm
Or
at
that
a,
was you?
I'm at a
It was a
photo
prop.
shoot, and it was a prop.
Oh, okay, I got it. I'm all
Andrew.
caught up.
Come on, man.
I was at a photo shoot, and it was a prop, and I walk up, and I'm like, oh, I like this sandwich. I eat these. Take a picture, post
So
it on
innocent.
Twitter,
Yeah.
and then it's like I got run over by a truck right after that.
Oh, man, brutal. All right, we got one more.
One more.
So this is, you tweeted, I was playing video games last night and met a random player using my name as his tag. I was also using my name as a tag. I introduced myself saying, hey, Dale Jr., it's me, or you. I'm Dale Jr., but he didn't believe me.
No, so I love this opportunity to talk about Hell Let Loose. So, I still play video games, really enjoy it. I'm waiting on the college football game to come back. Everybody's been talking about, and if that ever will, I'll get back on the console. But iRacing is my thing. iRacing is on PC. They got a console game coming out for NASCAR soon in 2025, but that's all I've ever done, except one game.
Mm-hmm.
For the last 3 years, I've been playing Hell Let Loose, and it's a World War II shooter. And so you'll get into the games, and there's a lot of conversation, a lot of talking. You can talk to people that are in your proximity, and everybody's got their name over their head, right? And they're running around, right, trying to get in the best spots. And so I hop in this server, and there's a Dale Jr. And I'm like, hey, Dale Jr., hey, Dale Jr. And he's like, I run over to him, and he's like, what? And I'm like, I'm Dale Jr. I'm you.
Yeah.
I'm Dale Jr.
He's like, nice impression guy.
And he's like, and he just turned and ran away. And I was like, damn, man, you just have no idea what's how cool this could be.
I know. Shame, man. It's a shame.
But I love it because sometimes people are like, they're like Dollage. They don't know that they see the name and it's Dale Jr.
right.
together, and they don't know how to pronounce it. They don't know they're not race fans, right?
Right.
They're like some guy in Milwaukee, and he's like, Dollage, sure. I don't know, man. Hey, he's trying to tell me to go over there and grab that grenade launcher, right? And or whatever, right? But then there's the other people that are like, hey, Dale Jr. And I'll start talking to them, and they'll go, whoa, it really is you.
That's awesome.
And then we'll stand there in this, World War II scene having a conversation.
What a wild time.
And then, like, the games last for like an hour and a half, and so you see the same people often, and they're like,
up?
"Hey, there he is!" They've now gotten their buddies,
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
man.
And now
Come
they're all
on,
like,
you gotta
"Hey,
see this."
Here he is, guys! Come on over here! I'm like, y'all, we got to stop the enemy.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, Dale, talk to my buddy.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
That's awesome.
I love it. Hell let loose. I mean, it's a great game. I try my best to get all my friends into it. We play quite a bit.
Man.
That's awesome.
On Steam.
All right. Well, it's been congratulations on 10 years on Twitter. Yeah. Can't wait to see what
been a fun ride.
10 years
It's been fun, man. We had a lot of tweets Sunday. I don't know if there were any worth revisiting, but man, it was.
Keep them coming.
I get on there, and some days I have a good time, and some days I just read. I just watch. I watch. So should we talk about the Daytona 500 and who's never won it?
Yeah. There's a lot of big names.
Yeah, there's a long list. Kyle Busch, Truex, Larson, Elliott, Blaney, Bubba, Keselowski, Byron,
LaJoy's on there. That's just to name a few.
Yeah, and so let's bring up the LaJoy clip. So apparently, I said, that LaJoy is going to win this year. In my 16, that bumps Busher out. But hey, Busher, don't be too upset. You've got your diecast here.
Yeah, he's got his car on
race
the
win
table.
diecast
We
on the
made it
table.
good.
I put that on there because I felt bad. So maybe that's okay.
It was not on there
Chris,
last week.
Yeah, maybe Chris will think that's okay. So, anyways, Corey heard about our prediction. Let's hear what he had to say.
Well, I know Dale to be a lot of things, but a prophet would that's a new addition to his list. But I like it. I feel like he's kind of seen the progression of what ownership and what we've done as a team. Everybody's sitting here, as you know, and as everybody in NASCAR knows, everybody's sitting here a week before the 500 thinks that it's going to be theirs. The Harley Jarrell's going home with them, but I'm more confident. I'm a realist, but I do have more confidence in the strength of it with the approach and preparation that I've ever had.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if Corey wins the Daytona 500. He certainly has a great shot at it, but I certainly think he wins somewhere, maybe Atlanta. He's had a couple close calls at Atlanta.
Here's the thing that I realized during the DJD Reloaded show is if you think it's Atlanta, he only has one opportunity to do that during the regular season.
Yeah.
So that's a lot riding on one race, I think.
But think about that, too. Say somebody, like a Stenhouse wins Daytona and Corey wins Atlanta. Now there's two guys in the playoffs that weren't in there. Maybe there's two guys in the playoffs that are stealing positions from top 10, top 12 teams.
Yeah.
Right? So, that's when we have the way the races are structured out of the gate gives us an opportunity to have some unique winners.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, back to our list about drivers who we think that could win the Daytona 500 that have not won the Daytona 500. Hard to believe Brad Keselowski is still on this list. That's my pick. My pick to win the Daytona 500 this year is Brad Keselowski. He finished third in 2014. He's got, as many wins at Talladega, I believe, as I do. Maybe one more than I do. But so in my eyes, next to Denny Hamlin, he might be the next best restrictor plate racer. Now, he's had some down moments, but so did I in my career, where there's a string of years where you just don't have the car and you have to work together like one thing.
It's funny you said that RFK overachieved last year with Chris Buescher, but then you're picking Brad K to win your 500. Yeah. So is that just because of driver and track, or do you think that
I said last week that I think the stats for RFK flip, where Brad has the year that Chris Buescher had last year.
That's right.
And so, maybe it starts with the Daytona 500. Brad gets a win out of the gate. It allows them to be a little more aggressive with their play calls the rest of the year, producing more opportunities to win. That's what happened to me in 2014. I don't know that we win either of the Pocono races had we not already had a victory and locked ourselves into the playoffs. The strategy calls for the Pocono wins, obviously Brad had to get out of the way for one of them because he had some debris on his grill, but the strategy calls is what put us in those positions. And so they were aggressive. But anyhow, I think it's a strong list. All these guys are great race car drivers. Byron, Bubba, Blaney, Elliott, Larson, Truex, Busch. There's some other names that aren't on our list. But I just feel like Brad's due.
An interesting stat from Dirty Mo Doe, and we were just talking about him, Corey LaJoy. His last 4 Daytona 500s, he has an average finish of 11.75, which is the second best average finish
That's
in the
Corey.
last 4, only to Blaney.
Corey.
Yeah, that's Corey LaJoie.
And Blaney's got the best.
Yeah. And Blaney has 2 runner-up finishes, 2017 and 2020.
Hey, Blaney's looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Truex. And I think Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
I can't decide between those 2 right now.
Denny picked Kyle Busch. He said that
Okay.
Kyle Busch is going to be the guy in victory lane there.
Wow.
Not
all
even
right.
himself?
No, I know. Which
Well,
is kind of interesting.
I mean, you can't pick yourself.
Right.
I appreciate that.
Really?
Yeah.
I would bet on myself.
That'd be
And I
such-
would give it to for a championship.
That'd be such a Denny thing
Right, I
to
know.
pick yourself. So let's just celebrate the
All
fact
right.
that he did not
Proud
do
of him.
the Denny thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got a feeling about the Hendrick guys.
And Denny probably would also give up a toe. For
Oh,
him.
he.
Oh,
I did
I'm
say
getting
so, yeah.
corrected. Denny said if it isn't him, then Kyle.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Oh shoot.
Well-
okay. So it's slightly Denny
Yeah.
ish.
Yeah.
All right.
I got a good feeling about the that old number 9. I think he's going to find his way. He needs it for sure.
Yeah.
Start off the year with a bang.
That would be a big deal.
Yep.
You know, and speaking of that Dirty Mo Doe stat that I just mentioned of Corey LaJoie, qualifying is coming up first. And Steve and the guys were talking about qualifying and some of the prop bets for Wednesday, and we've got a clip here.
I think I have your hammer here. Josh Berry plus 100, Alex Bowman minus 130.
I'm not hammering that. Rodney Childers just went winless with Kevin Harvick. SHR is rebuilding, rebranding, remodeling. You see them on social media. They are kind of put the swagger out there. If there was ever a time for a company to deliver their new man, Josh Berry, Sonny D, to the pole at the Daytona 500, this would be the time. How do you like it, Professor? You see where I'm going with this?
You got a point there.
So while the numbers would say it's a hammer, all I'm saying is,
But hold on. Bowman sat on the front row in the last 6 races there.
yeah, I know. I predict a Ford pole sitter. I predict at least one car on the front row from SHR.
You like that?
Yeah, I love it. Actually, I do. I'm glad they mentioned Bowman because yes, he's going to be on the front row, but I do think it's a very good chance of a big surprise, and I like that angle of a SHR car.
Is this the first year in a long time that Hendrick doesn't win the pole, or is it a front row, or does a Hendrick car win?
Somebody
pole?
somebody slips in there and steals it.
All right, interesting.
Is it straight up? Is it fair? Is it legal? Maybe not.
Hey, new cars.
Yeah.
New Ford, new Toyota.
Yeah, for sure. The only
Okay.
thing is like the new Ford nose the new Ford body was an attempt to try to help them, which tends to hurt you at Daytona and Talladega. They're trying to get a little bit more aero advantage at every other racetrack. That typically does not mean
Right.
it's going to be more drag, more downforce, so that will slow you down at Daytona and Talladega, but we'll have to see.
Mhm.
Now, the Toyotas, they went in the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
They went, I think, away from having, they went toward being able to push better, have a flatter nose, so they may actually have improved their cars for Talladega and Daytona. So maybe it's not a Ford and it's Toyota on the front row.
Could be.
We'll just have to see.
Do you think that hurts their chances at like mile and a halves?
Don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have to see.
Have to see.
We are live, Dale, on Ash Jr.
All right. Well, welcome everybody for joining us today. We've had a pretty good show. I just got the alert that we are live on our social media handles. So good job, Dalton.
Yes, sir.
We've had a great show today for Dirty Air, and I hope everybody will tune in. And don't forget that all of our episodes are on YouTube in full this year. So you won't need to go anywhere else but to our YouTube Dirty Mo Media handles to be able to watch the full episodes of all of our shows. That's new, something we've wanted to bring to you. We told you we would, and we finally made it. But we got some questions from all of y'all from social media, so let's get started.
Yes, this first one, it actually made me laugh when I read it this morning. It's from Bill. Have you ever sneezed during a race?
Oh, yeah.
And what's that What's that like? Like I feel like that would be problematic with the helmet on.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that you got your eyes closed for a mere second is
Right,
bothersome.
yeah.
That's really the only thing that I'm bothered by. It's not so much. I mean, so the sneezing and thinking about snot going everywhere, that doesn't bother you.
Really?
So, no, because listen, when we get in that car, anything's liable to happen.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might pee on yourself. Tony Stewart pooped on himself.
Is that
A
really?
sneeze is, big deal.
Yeah. There's a lot worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot worse. You're sweating. You're going to get dirty. So you're not so much worried about, and it's not like, it's going to get all over the inside of the helmet. That never really was a concern. It's just, you got to close your eyes because, right, our eyes will pop out of our head if we sneeze with our eyes open.
Right.
That's what we believe
Something like
anyways,
that.
right?
Is that really?
Well, why do you shut your eyes?
I feel like it's just natural. Like I don't try and keep it open when I
You
I
should
sneeze.
think our eyes would fly out of our heads.
Fly across the room.
Yes.
I'm gonna try it
I
next
don't.
time. I want to prove your theory right or
Yeah.
wrong.
Oof.
Do it while you're driving so you can really test it.
Yeah.
So, you that
was pretty
whole
good. I
moment
believe that.
is even just for a split second you're focused on driving. That's a little bit of a little bit unnerving for a second, but
Was the Tony Stewart stuff public knowledge?
yeah, he raced at
Yeah.
Watkins. He won the race
Yeah.
at Watkins Glen.
Really?
Yeah, he gets out of his car in Victory Lane, runs to the hauler, changes his suit, wipes his tail, and
Right.
comes
Damn.
back for his celebration.
He alluded to it.
All right,
Yeah,
that's news to me.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, I have never had that happen.
That's
But
yeah,
that is
that's
one of
good.
my biggest fears is that I'm going to be – this is probably my biggest fear. No, it's not. Biggest fear is probably a strong word. But one of my biggest worries is like being somewhere when I need to use the bathroom and not being able to. I hate that.
That's me a lot of Tuesdays here.
Yeah.
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 Halfway through the show.
Man, that
Imagine,
media
right,
break.
driving a race and you're like you got the bubble guts
Yeah.
and it's coming.
Yep.
There's like nothing you can do about it.
Ah.
And you're like trying to focus and got a shot at winning, so got to get all this distraction off your mind. Got to let it happen.
I feel like there was a driver recently that won who after the race said they really had to pee.
Yeah.
But I can't
Well, I
remember
did
who
that.
it
I
was.
was when I was a rookie, we were at we won Richmond, right? Past Dad and win our second race in our rookie year. Pull into victory lane. This is in that book that Jay Gerst, driver number 8, pull into victory lane, and I just got out and walked past everybody. Like when I hop out, everybody goes, "Yeah!"
Yeah.
And I just like stone face walk all the way out of victory lane, past fans. They're like, and I walked over to there was a Goodyear gas pump station building right next to victory lane, and I walked right in there. Somebody was standing in there, and I said, "Where's the bathroom?" And I had to go pee so bad, and maybe I didn't have to do number 2. I don't know,
Hey.
but I had to do something. And I go in there, and I'm sitting there, and so you sit down, right, to use the bathroom.
Right.
And the first thing on your mind is, they're all standing there waiting. And I'm doing this. This is going to take however long it takes. And they're waiting. And they know by now.
Mm-hmm.
There's no hiding this.
Yep.
You're contemplating that while you're sitting in there. You get up and you get out and you walk back to victory lane and you go like, okay.
Yeah, and you walk back to victory lane probably in so much of a better mood.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
big relief. Big relief. Everything fits better.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh,
Next
man.
question.
Yes, we need to hit the next question. Michael, he saw you tweet that you had a Super Bowl commercial. I don't know. I don't think you knew that was
I
a
didn't.
thing. The Menards.
Menards
so what
ran.
was that? Yeah.
So
what was that
all right,
like?
I got a question about this. So Menards apparently runs a Super Bowl ad, but I don't know. I think there
Local,
was some local
maybe.
ads, right? So this was maybe just in the Midwest.
Yeah.
But I told Amy about it yesterday, and she said, "Well, how many people saw it?" And I'm thinking maybe 1/5 of the country. That's
Maybe.
still quite a bit.
Yeah.
I had no clue. So
That's cool.
yeah, we went to film this at Menards out in the Midwest somewhere. So we go out there. we filmed Menards commercials last year, and if you've ever seen a Menards commercial, they have a vibe to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we filmed our commercial last year, and I'm like, man, I'm going to get more integrated into the process this year. I want this to be even better. We're going to have this great commercial. And we go out there and we film it, and everything went great, right? And we get done, and all the creative came together to approve this final piece that we had created. No clue that this was for a Super Bowl. I'm just thinking, man, this will run during the ARCA races. I don't know.
Right.
And so they were like, yeah, we like it. We would love this and that and other. So we decide to film more at my shop at my house. So that part of us in the shop next to the car is in my shop.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, kind of hustled together to really, make the commercial that we all wanted. And, that was literally like 2 weeks ago or a week ago. I mean, it's recent.
What a turnaround.
And I'm still thinking as we're shooting this, I'm like, man, I hope this makes everybody happy and we make a great commercial and this will run during the ARCA races. And then I was on social media, like I told you, during the game, and somebody says, hey, Dale, I saw this Menards commercial. Was that for everybody or just is it local? And I'm like, it has to be local, right? Because I didn't see it. I'm watching the game. It didn't come on my TV in North Carolina. But
no, I think we got a Bojangles commercial.
Man,
instead.
we did.
Yeah,
it was like a blurb.
Yep, it was real quick.
Yeah, and it's right at the same time.
Yep.
So anyhow, dude, I think a Super Bowl commercial is as prime real estate as you can get for an advertiser. Anytime I've ever been in a even a whiff of an opportunity to do a Super Bowl commercial, it's like it's massive honor, and so humbling to have been in a Super Bowl commercial, even if only part of the country saw it, and to think we were if I'd have known we were shooting that, I'd have been 10 times more nervous.
Oh,
had I known we were shooting a Super Bowl commercial. So
it seems like the YouTube chat has seen it, and a lot more, I think, of the country saw it. People in Florida said they saw it.
Whoa.
New York City. So
my gosh,
yeah, got some good coverage.
Okay, I underestimated all of this.
Might be
That's
more like
pretty awesome.
half.
Yeah, well, thanks for all that input, everybody that's watching. Man, we had no idea, and what a thing! Like, who does not know they're going to be in a Super?
Yeah.
That's probably not ever happened, right? Oh,
Yeah.
damn, we were filming that for the Super Bowl. You find out in the moment while it's running on national TV.
You know how crazy that would have been if it came on North Carolina? You're just sitting there like, what the hell?
Right. I would have my pants if if that played on my TV. Holy moly. Talking about
yeah, exactly.
pants.
Yes.
That literally might have happened.
Yep.
This next question is from Danny, and we love the advice questions, and Danny apparently is going on his first Valentine's Day date.
Yeah.
It seems like, according to this, that they were together for like 5 months is what he said. So any advice for him?
5 months. I mean, you guys with your short relationships would probably be helpful. Because I mean, I say that not as a dig.
Mm-hmm.
When I was y'all's age, 3 months was a long relationship.
Yeah.
Right. And so, it's a balance. I think at that point you're doing the traditional things, dozen flowers, box of candy,
Nice restaurant.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't pour it on any stronger than that.
Right. Well, in 5 months, it's the first Valentine's Day. So
Right,
you got to do
exactly.
it big
Yeah.
No,
for the first one.
not big.
No?
No.
You keep it low key?
Yeah.
Maybe do something sentimental?
Well, every year has to get better.
Oh,
Oh,
you're right.
so you got to
Yeah.
start
You know
the
what?
bar
You brought
pretty
it up.
Start
low.
out big, son.
Yeah.
And then you drop her down. You can't drop it down.
I didn't think about it
You
like
can't
that.
bring it back down and
Yeah.
go, hey, man, last year was the first. What'd you expect?
So maybe half a
One of the
dozen
best
roses
lessons.
this year.
One of the best lessons, all right, that my dad gave me. He gave me some lessons, right? And I'll share one with you. There's not many. There's never, people want to know some of the things that Dale Earnhardt shared, and he didn't share very much. Here's one, okay? This was really important. You can apply this to everything. First Valentine's Days, whatever. We race in 1998 and win the championship. I've never in my life had to decide about who to give a bonus to and how much until that year, right? I'd never had a team around me, right? And so here we are, end of the season, and I've won the championship. My whole life is just blown up, and it's like all this amazing things are happening to me. I'm finally like having all of these, my dreams are coming true. And Dad sits down and says, okay, we're going to give bonuses away this year. You've got to take some of your salary and put it into our bonus plan. And you can decide how much each person gets individually. I'm like, you got to give Tony Sr. this much and Tony Jr. this much and this person this much. And he goes, one thing I need to let you know is every year after this, the bonuses need to increase. All right, so maybe dial it down a little bit. I think you're getting a little bit excited. And so, I wanted to give them everything. They deserve it. I'm only doing this and winning and a champion because of them, right? So just let them have it.
Right.
And he was like, that's a good idea, but next year it's got to be more than that.
Right.
And then if you're if the runway's 10, 20 years of racing in the Cup Series and all of that with these guys, it's got to ramp.
Yeah.
Same thing with Valentine's, man.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think you start off nice and traditional, and then you plateau, right, with something very similar for multiple years. And then when you hit that 5, you go big. Then you hit the 10, you might go big.
I got you.
I'm not saying I'm right. I just my way of doing it.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, babe, if you're listening, we're keeping it low key this year.
Oh man. All right, we got time for one more question.
Dalton does not have Dalton's not in a relationship, everybody. Just
No,
so you know.
he does not have a fiance or anything.
Yeah, definitely not engaged. Yeah, that was funny. Not anymore.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
Yes. Meanwhile, I am looking for Valentine's Day, so anyone in the YouTube chat, no. We got time for one more question. This is from, let's see, who's this from? I apologize, I missed your name here, but
Wait a minute. The dating scene out on the Iron Man trail is not.
it's
He's got to catch
it's
up.
a work in progress, man. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see where it goes.
When's your last date?
Last date was December. So
Not bad.
yeah.
How did you meet her?
Through the dating app.
That's
Strava.
so interesting. The dating app. What is it called?
It's
Is it
called
literally
Hinge.
Hinge?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, there were not dating apps.
Truth
when
be told, I hate them. But it's like everyone's using them these days.
So people that are single, everyone I talk to, that's how they go on dates is these dating apps, man. I remember like 10 years ago, it was like a crazy cringy thing, right? To take somebody out through a dating app, and now it's like the traditional, totally traditional, totally normal.
Yeah.
And it didn't even exist at one point. Golly.
It's crazy.
Fascinating.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of it, but everyone's on it, so it's like, all right, well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
Gotta be on it.
that is wild.
Yeah.
So, question. So,
All right, yeah, sure.
do you on the dating app, do you ask somebody out and they go, nah, I'm good.
No, they can just not respond.
Just ghost you, right?
Yeah,
that's,
they can
that's
just
where
straight up
that
ghost
comes.
you.
That's
Yeah.
where that whole
Yeah.
whole phrase comes from.
Yeah, but you can ask them out, and then they give you their number. So like all the chatting is done in the app,
Right? And is there are you okay, you're not a psycho. Give me some information to prove that you're not a crazy person. Do you like, hey man, this is what I do for a living. This is where I work.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably less of that than you
Less
think.
of that.
I think
No,
you'd
it
like
has. It
some
actually
crazy
has that
dates.
on your bio. Like
Okay.
it has
What?
your age, where you
So
live.
is there so there's
where you work.
so they just kind of look at the bio and go, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
just
like
like
so,
that.
it allows you to have prompts too. So like you can respond to someone's prompt, and it starts a
What's the
conversation.
prompt?
Like
It'll be like, what's your favorite childhood memory? And you
yeah,
go
or like
something
two
like
truths
that.
and a lie about
yeah,
me,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
okay.
or this
So
is
that's
my
like
hot
conversation
take.
starter.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of just the awkward, hey,
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up?
like to go out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes it for a little bit more.
So that way you
conversational.
kind of like just respond to a prompt. If they don't, if they're not interested, no harm, no foul.
Exactly.
Everybody moves on.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Man, that's something else, man.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
It is
Okay, sorry.
interesting.
Next question.
No, you're good. Out of all the pre-race festivities you've done in the Daytona 500, I know you've given the command, waved the flag, I think maybe a few other things. Which one has been the coolest over the years?
Man, waving the flag was so much fun because I just felt like waving the flag, there's a technique, right, to waving the flag and getting it right. And I was the little kid that, you know, had the flags when they were 8, 10 years old, you know, and had them in the house and waving the flag in the living room and going to the racetrack. And you got those kids that are in the grandstands with the whole set, right? And they're just doing they're just mimicking the flagman the whole night, right? I love that kid when I see that kid at the racetrack. I'm like, that kid there is going to be a real flagman one day.
Yeah,
or he's going to be. He's going to find some purpose in this industry. He's He's into it, you know. And so, you know, I think and there's a way to do it the right way. You know, you'll see all these, you know, celebrities and other people that get invited to come do it, and you know you can tell some that have maybe tried to you know practice a little bit, and some that have not held this flag till the moment they're getting ready to wave it for the green flag, and you know, and then you'll see some people that are in our own industry. That you're like, you're a driver or a mechanic, crew chief, whatever, and you're Hall of Famer, and that's your wave?
Yeah.
Like, you've seen this done a million times,
Right.
and then they're like,
Yeah.
and you're
that's
like,
the
oh,
worst.
my God,
Right,
man, come
right.
on. You can do better than that. But me and my friends, man, we used to, like, you know, have competitions,
Yep.
like who could do it, you know, who can wave. Like, there's a proper technique.
Oh, yeah. There's a skill for sure.
And so I knew I wanted to nail that. And so I got to wave the flag for the Daytona 500 and feel like that I waved it as well as
you could have.
the professionals, the experts.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember you had some good form.
Yeah.
You could
I
tell
was
that
very-
you
I was very
practiced.
happy with it.
You studied
It
some
sucked
film.
because right after that it started raining, like literally. And I
Did it?
Yeah.
What year was that?
I don't remember 2020
All
Something
right.
like that.
or
Yeah.
2019, 2016. I can't remember. No, it wasn't 2016. I was racing.
Yeah.
So
Hop back in the car.
2018 maybe, my first year out. No, I did the command. So 2019.
Okay.
I
That
don't
makes
know.
sense.
Who the hell cares?
Yeah.
But it rained, and the race, like literally with green flag,
2020.
2 laps, rain, and then I'm like standing there still in the flag stand, and I'm like, do I give the green flag again? Like for this, you know,
Oh, so
lap
for the
5
restart?
Whatever, you know, and it's like they're like, nah, you did not. I'm like, hey, I'll stay up here
Yeah,
and flag.
exactly.
You know, I'll flag the
Yeah.
remainder of the race.
Be the guy that's like telling
Yeah.
people when you got one to go
Yeah.
too, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that brings me back to what happened this past year at Pocono. We were up in the flag stand with a fan during the broadcast. Yes,
That's right.
That was a blast. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was, I mean, that flag stand, maybe not at every race, but pretty much almost all races. If you ever get a chance to just even be in the flag stand when the green flag is thrown, take it. It is awesome.
Yeah.
The wind off the cars and just the sound, and then stay there, wait for them to return for that first lap at full speed. That is what's up, man. It's
Really
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's a good place to end Ash Junior
man.
today.
That was a quick
Man, we're on
one.
a tight schedule, man.
Okay. All right, everybody, it's time for White Flag. Jeff Gluck and Jordan Bianchi are in Daytona this week to recap all of the action on track. They will be live right after the duels on Thursday night. So you'll want to tune in for the teardown Thursday night right after the duels. Denny Hamlin's podcast dropped yesterday, so go check that out. He shared his bold predictions ahead of the 2024 season and what his expectations are for himself this year. I hear he's all in. Yeah, I saw that whole bit. The back of the T-shirt was funny.
Yeah.
Another episode of Speed Street drops tomorrow. Always fun checking in with Connor and those guys. And Dirty Mo Doe with Steve Letarte is already in full swing. He handicaps the field. And they will be back on Friday to give you a full preview of the Daytona 500. So a lot going on. You'll want to tune in to Dirty Mo Doe. Even if you're not a gambler, I think it's the best way to really understand how to handicap the field. Steve literally tells you who he thinks is going to win and who he thinks will not and who he thinks will struggle. So Again, Jeff Gordon on the show tomorrow is our guest. He is going to be awesome. And finally, we have a new Dale Jr. Download spinoff podcast, and it's called DJD Reloaded. I caught some of this past week. I loved it. I think fans are going to love it. It's a nice change of pace from the Dale Jr. Download Tuesday and Wednesday shows. I'm not hosting the show, but I loved hearing what Corey LaJoie had to say after I predicted that he would make the playoffs with a win. And you guys came up with some great new alter egos for Christopher Bell. We actually talked about doing that. We're going to fire it up again this Thursday, and we're going to hear from the fans. It's a show where the fans can engage. So bring your best reactions, your best opinions for our shows this week. I'll be tuning in again to check out and see how that goes. Looking forward to it. The new number to voice your opinions is 704-584-9703. Give us a call at 704-584-9703. Lay it on the line, because you just might get to hear yourself on DJD Reloaded on Thursdays. All right, that's it. Another Dale Jr. Download in the books, kicking off the season in 2024 strong with another episode of Dirty Air in the books. Thank you all tomorrow. Jeff Gordon, look forward to it. We'll see you then.